Today, I wanted to talk to you about the difference between compassion and empathy and how this affects our practice as healthcare providers. We all are familiar with compassion fatigue and burnout. Hopefully, not too personally, but I know I have experienced quite a lot of burnout. And what I've learned in that time for my own recovery is to be very skillful in how I apply these two ways of being. I call them ways of being because they really have to do with how we are sensing the world and how we are expressing ourselves in the world through our nervous systems. There's a really great distinction that's made around the physiology of these two experiences. And if you think about, what it's like when we feel empathy for someone, there's this real feeling with, it's like, oh, I can feel what you're feeling with you, which means that our nervous system is mirroring what they're feeling. And it's incredibly useful because we can sense what kinds of tension might be in their body. We can sense where what kinds of emotions might be showing up in their body. And there's a lot of information in that around, like, what's their posture, what's their breathing like. We're getting all of this when we attune with our empathy. The tricky thing is with empathy is that what's happening is our nervous system is now tuning into them and picking up what's going on for them and sort of abandoning our own experience, right? We kind of like dive in, notice what's happening for them, get all this information. And if we stay there and we're working with someone who's very traumatized, what's that doing for our system? Well, suddenly I'm feeling all that trauma too, right? And what's it like at the end of the day? You're exhausted and you're carrying your work home with you because now all of that trauma is in here. That's not to say that using empathy is something we should not do. It's something that we should be very skillful at. And there is practices that we can work on to help fine-tune our empathy so that we can use it as an assessment tool and also be very mindful of taking care of ourselves. So that takes some practice and some skill. The other side of this is compassion. Now, I mean, if you've ever watched the Dalai Lama speak, you'll notice what it's like when you see somebody in such a radiant, compassionate way in their nervous system. That calmness and that warmth that emanates is almost like it's more of the efferent nervous system, right? We're actually putting something out there, and it's not disconnected from what's happening around you. It's a very, it's like a kindness. And physiologically, what's different about compassion and empathy is that compassion uses the reward systems of our nervous system, whereas empathy it actually uses the pain pathways. So you can see how compassion can be quite nourishing for us and how it can kind of protect us from taking on trauma. Because it's more of an efferent system, it is a little bit more of a taking up space and sort of sending stuff out. And we know that the more we're sending stuff out, the less bandwidth we have for taking information in. So there's that skill of being able to navigate between the two, both to take care of ourselves and to tune into our clients. And also, I want to say something else about this, like, oh, well, then we should be more client focused and really use our empathy because that's when we're truly connected. But it doesn't always support our clients to join them in their trauma. We want to understand it, but we also want to be able to step out of it so that we can provide something different. And that's a very important part of working with traumatized clients. So I hope this has been really useful for you to kind of get a little sense of what those two things are and how they are different. I'd really encourage you to sort of track in your own nervous system what it's like when you might be in your empathic skill set and when you might be in your compassionate skill set. And I really look forward to diving into this deeper in the course. I hope you can join us. Okay. Have a great day.